This video is brought to you by Grandeur Warranty, your #1 online source for factory-backed extended warranties in the country. What is it like to live with the new Honda Passport TrailSport? Well, you came to the right place because here at TFL we do real-world testing, and this is our first long-term update for this Passport. Before we get to the actual numbers and some testing, let's take a look at this 2026 Passport TrailSport and the styling of it. I think it's a complete home run. The exterior color on this is sunset orange, and I think it's very modern, very popular right now, and it's very squared off. When I first saw prototype images of this, we all freaked out in the office because we at first thought it was a Toyota FJ Cruiser. Ended up being a Honda, which is still amazing. Let's take a look at the back. It's really boxy and it looks just off-road ready. Just look at the profile and the departure angle. Actually, it's one of the few SUVs or trucks that has a better departure angle than approach, about 27 degrees there. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you like this style? I think they really nailed it. This Passport is on loan from Honda, and we've had it for a couple months and almost 3,000 miles. But the powertrain is so traditional, and that's really refreshing. It's a 3.5-liter V6, 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque, and it's mounted to a traditional, I would say, 10-speed automatic transmission. So there is no CVTs, there is no hybrid powertrains here. But here's a couple of questions. First of all, performance, how does it accelerate? And also efficiency. And Tommy and Case actually ran our tumbleweed 50-mile loop in several different drive modes. Let me show you what happened there.
The Honda actually agrees with GPS. It's exactly a 50-mile round trip on the dot, which is cool. And in normal mode, the car says we've averaged 25.3 mpg. So let's go to the pump and see if that's true. All right. Final results. We drove 50 miles. We're dividing it by 1.629 gallons used. 30.69? Right now the car's saying 21.5 in the sport mode. So final result, 50 miles driven divided by 1.979 gallons used, 25. So we lost, what, 5-ish mpg in a 50-mile loop. That is pretty crazy.
Now before we end things off, we're gonna do one more loop in eco mode just to see how that compares to normal and sport. Our MPG loop is done just like that, as before. 50 miles exactly. So 50 miles divided by 1.715 is right around 30. So eco mode ended up doing a pretty similar number within a margin of error, I would say.
The EPA rates this at 25 mpg on the highway, and in sport mode, the most aggressive mode on our tumbleweed 50-mile loop, Tommy, as you saw, got 25. But this is also capable of better because you also saw 29 and 30 mpg. So I think if you're mostly commuting in this, it's not bad. If you're going to be going up mountains or on a long trip at 80 miles an hour, it may not be so great. Okay, so what does the Passport TrailSport drive like? In a short, really comfy. In fact, since we've had it the last couple months, it became a favorite camera vehicle of most of our videographers because the ride is comfy and also the size of this SUV is not that huge. It's relatively compact compared to many other vehicles we have. So even here on the dirt, it's wonderful. Yeah, very compliant ride, and that's, I think, a very positive thing. Now, I really want to show you kind of the acceleration of this machine, so we'll have to get to some pavement in a second. And Honda, just like Toyota and many others, has so many options if you wanted to select a crossover or an SUV. For example, they have the HR-V subcompact. They have the CR-V, of course, one of their most popular vehicles. And they have this, they have the Pilot, and the Odyssey minivan is still here. And of course, they do have a mid-size pickup truck as well, the Ridgeline. All of those are pretty superb vehicles. And in generally speaking, when I think of Honda, I also think of reliability. Yes, every manufacturer these days has a pretty significant recall, and Honda is not exempt from that or immune from that. But nonetheless, every Honda that my family has owned, we had a couple of Civics that we've owned before, they've been super solid vehicles, and all my friends I speak to, they speak highly of Honda reliability. So that's where my mind goes. All right, I'm gonna accelerate from 40. Okay, so the transmission downshifts pretty quickly, but this V6, it does have 285 horsepower, and I would call it just adequate. I wouldn't call it monstrous or very peppy. The CR-V is available with a hybrid powertrain, but a CVT. And there's, of course, rumor that the Pilot and maybe even the Passport or the Ridgeline could get a hybrid powertrain within a year or so. But I really hope they kind of stay away from a dual clutch or a CVT transmission, or dual clutch automated manual transmission, because those are not great for off-roading, because this 10th speed is actually really good at taking you at slow speed off-road, but a CVT or a dual clutch would not be. And when you do finance your brand new vehicle for the long term, I'm talking about 5, 6, 7 years, check out our friends at GrangerWarranty.com, because they provide affordable factory-backed extended warranties, so you can be protected for the length of your financial loan, but also just for the long haul in general. And they always use certified locations to fix your vehicle using OEM quality parts, and you could save some money, about $1,000 on average compared to other places. So check out GrangerWarranty.com. So far pretty good, right? Well, now we get to an issue I have with this Passport TrailSport, and it's really about ground clearance. It's a specific trim of the Passport that's supposed to be more off-road capable and off-road worthy. It does have these tires, General Grabbers, pretty good traction, pretty aggressive, good tough sidewall. That's pretty nice, and it's a good all-around tire too for the street and the dirt. This has a great IVTM4 all-wheel drive system, and in a second I'll show you what happened when Tommy tested it on our slip test. But ground clearance, take a look at this. This is 23 degrees of approach in the front, and ground clearance is rated by Honda at 8.3 inches, which is, in my opinion, and actually after our testing we found out that's not quite enough, because in my mind this model goes up against the Toyota 4Runner and some of the off-road versions of that 4Runner, which have more ground clearance, bigger tires, and just more raw capability because of that. So that's an issue I have with this off-road model. But let me show you what happened when Tommy tested it on the slip test.
Now this is an iconic test. It's front left, right rear stuck in the rollers. Now this is a great test for if you're off-road, which we're about to be, light throttle application, right? We don't want to simulate full throttle. That's not how you get unstuck in the real world. That's not how we do it on the rollers. Now things really start to heat up. So this is the first 3-wheel slip test. Both rear wheels stuck, front left stuck. Only the front right is on the ground. Come on, right front, let's start spinning. Okay, so it's not doing much in the normal mode. What if I go into the trail setting? Okay, you can hear that traction control starting to activate. There we go. All right, now for the final test. Most crossovers fail this because they're front wheel drive biased. Sending power to the back is a very difficult thing, especially when you're talking left to right distribution. But with this Honda and the IVTM4 system, it has a series of clutches in the back that can distribute power left and right. In drive, going onto the throttle. Okay, car's spinning, it's thinking about it, but not much is going on. Okay, really is, you can really feel it rocking. So we're not getting unstuck in normal mode, but let's go into the trail, sand, or tow setting. I'm gonna go to the trail mode. I think that's gonna be the one that's gonna distribute the most torque. Oh, actually, interesting. Okay, there we go.
Well, like you saw right there, it did good at the slip test, but not perfect, I would say. And when Tommy took it into Andre's pit in the trenches, it performed well, but in trail mode, which is a specific off-road mode. So that's a pretty good performance. But now I want to talk about utility and interior and comfort. First, I'm a pickup truck guy, so I always look at payload, and it's just under 950 pounds. And if you put a rooftop tent on this, or you load it up with gear, or you put maybe 4 people, large people like me in here, that's not quite a lot of payload. So you have to be mindful of that when you're buying one of these. But let's take a look inside and check out the comfort and technology and also utility on the inside. It's already welcoming me with a nice message. I think they did a great job with this interior, especially the multi-tone leathers and materials and stitching throughout this particular TrailSport. It's related to the Honda Pilot, which is a proper 3-row SUV, but this one is of course shorter and a 2-row version. But what is left over is the width. And as a kind of a large dude, I really appreciate that because it has a large center console. I don't feel too cramped here. And of course I can have many people in the back and right next to me, and it feels great. Visibility is really good. And let's take a look at the technology. Here in the center display, I just put the Passport into trail mode, and the surround camera came on, and it kind of tells me the direction of the wheels and tires and kind of my dimensions. Really cool stuff. And then I think it's just very simple. There is not much fuss, very easy to read, high contrast screen. It's not blocking my view over the hood. Volume knob, and also really easy to control climate settings. This is so easy to read and understand. Big knobs, you can control your seats, ventilation and heating. And this may be confusing. This does not have a rear locking differential. This is a rear climate control button, rear lock. But other than that, really, really simple, really easy. There's also a wireless charging pad. And I have one complaint. Even after some time, I'm still not used to the transmission selector. Yes, you can put it to drive, sport, reverse, and park. I understand why it's done this way, but I just prefer a console shifter, a traditional one. This is still not my favorite. What about the rear seat? Well, I'm a pretty tall dude and I fit perfectly. And actually Mary did a full week-long Mary Drives review with this exact Passport TrailSport. You should check out that video. She also really appreciated the roominess of this vehicle. Rear passengers have vents, very simple. You can control your heated seats, very nice in this particular model. And you also have 150 watt of power. Nice. And there's also a sunshade for privacy. Many much more expensive SUVs don't have this. Yes, nice. But I want to check out the cargo space. It does have a 2-inch receiver for your trailer and 7-pin trailer wiring, but no trailer brake controller. The Passport TrailSport is rated to tow up to 5,000 pounds, and that's the only thing we haven't done. We haven't towed. So if you want to see that, comment below and let me know what type of towing test you would like to see. But when I open the rear hatch, it actually reveals a gigantic space. It is indeed a humongous space back here. There's little cubbies. There's also an openable storage below the floor. Oh, and by the way, this is one of the plastic pieces that broke off when we were off-roading. I wasn't there, but this just points that not enough ground clearance once again. There is a little space saver tire, spare tire right here, and also outlets. So if you're using this for camping, this could be a really nice SUV. Very cool. Okay, here I am stopped. And I'm trying to accelerate to 60. That's 40 and 55. Okay, so it does not make a lot of ruckus, which is great. It's pretty quiet, generally speaking. And acceleration, okay, it's not the best, but I don't think that's the point of this SUV. The point of this SUV is to be a really good daily commuter, and it does that, I think, really well. So we haven't drag raced this against anything else, so if you want to see that, please let us know, but we haven't drag raced it for a reason, because that's not kind of within the character of this particular SUV. When we have a high performance machine, we will always put it on a drag strip, but we haven't done this with the Passport. Finally, let's talk about price and also value. For 2026, the Passport starts at around $45,000, but this is not a base model. This color is optional, you have to pay a little bit extra for it, and also this is a TrailSport Elite, which is one of the most loaded up versions, and the sticker price on this guy is $54,400, but that includes the skid plates underneath, of course the tow hooks, the tires, all of the off-road goodies, including all of the luxury features on the inside. I still think it's pretty good value, even at $54,000. If you look at a Jeep Wrangler, for example, yeah, I know the Wrangler and the 4Runner are way more capable, and so is the Ford Bronco. But if you look at some of those SUVs, those prices can go into the 60s and sometimes even $70,000 range. So I think the value is still here, but I don't think it's perfect. I think what would make this perfect is a different version of the TrailSport, maybe TrailSport X, that has a little bit of suspension lift. That would be a really great Honda. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and check out oldtfl.com for more reviews, news, and real-world reviews.